all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Brought to you by IIFL Securities.
Good morning and happy Friday to you. You're listening to the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 22nd of November. Starting with the news from back home. In the banking space, public sector banks disbursed over 2.5 lakh crore worth of loans in October as part of loan mailers that were conducted at the direction of the central government. These mailers were conducted in two phases during the month and are an attempt to kickstart economic growth. Oil Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has hinted that public sector firms like Indian Oil Corporation may not be allowed to bid for the government's stake in Bharat Petroleum Corporation, for which a buyer may have to shell out as much as 90,000 crore rupees. You'll remember just a short while back that the cabinet approved the decision to sell the government's entire stake in BPCL. Arijit Basu, who is the managing director of State Bank of India, said the lender doesn't mind its lower stock valuation compared to some of its leaner private sector peers. He said that some of that was attributable to the bank's ownership and its focus on social sector, but admitted that the bank has made some mistakes in the past on business decisions. Former Reserve Bank of India Governor C. Rangarajan has said that India's target of reaching $5 trillion of GDP by 2025 is simply out of the question. The Indian economy's growth has been slowing steadily, and the reading in the second quarter of the current fiscal is expected to be worse than the 5% growth registered in the first quarter. That number will be out on the 29th, that is next Friday. JSW Steel chairman Sajjan Jindal has said that his company doesn't see ArcelorMittal as a challenge. In fact, he said that the imminent entry of the world's largest steelmaker into the Indian market would lead to more innovation, better quality, and research and development activities. The US government has approved the sale of 13 naval guns worth $1 billion to India in the biggest defense deal between the two countries in 4 years. The guns will be manufactured by Minneapolis-based BAE Systems. In international news, former US Treasury Secretary Hank Paulson said calls to oust Chinese companies from American stock indexes are contrary to the foundations of capitalism, as he warned against the dangers of decoupling the world's two largest economies. Paulson, who is now chairman of the Paulson Institute, told Bloomberg's New Economy Forum in Beijing that moves to reduce ties between the US and China would only weaken American leadership and New York's leading role in finance. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has sent Donald Trump legislation supporting Hong Kong protesters, and the president is expected to sign the bill into law despite Chinese warnings of retaliation. In fact, President Trump plans to sign the bill even as his administration tries to finalize the first phase of a long-awaited trade deal with China. US equities slid following losses in Europe and Asia as traders weighed conflicting signals about the outlook for the trade deal between Beijing and Washington. All three averages in the US lost just under 0.25%. Asian stocks are trading steady in the early hours of trade, with the Nikkei gaining about 0.5%. With that, it's over to Darshan Mehta for the trade setup for the day in India. Good morning, Darshan. How are we looking at the end of the week?
Hi Alex, good morning everyone. The US Qs were rather muted. The Nikkei started off very strong today. It's up almost 0.5%. The SGX Nifty is indicating a muted outlook, but lots of stocks that we need to watch out for. The big stock of yesterday was Zee Entertainment. The block deal details came out after market hours. So some of the prominent buyers include the government of Singapore, which bought in almost 866 crores, Society General, which bought in over 500 crores, SBI Mutual Fund, Invesco bought in over 250 crores. There is BlackRock, Small Cap, Norges Bank, HSBC, all of them have bought in more than 200 crores. Fidelity bought in 170 crores. So that will be interesting to see how the stocks react today. REITs will be in focus. There's an OFS for 1100 crores by sale of 3.75 crore shares by the government. The offer for sale is on November 22nd and November 25th. BHEL, in which CRISIL has downgraded the long-term rating bank facilities of the company to AA from AA positive. The outlook is revised from negative to stable due to the company's weaker than expected operating performance. Laurus Wrap says that they've received 3 observations on a pre-approval inspection for its API manufacturing unit in Visakhapatnam. Bajaj Holding says there is no decision taken for any investment in RBL Bank as of now. Dishman will be in focus. Birla Sun Life Equity Fund bought in 12 lakh shares. The government pension fund was the seller. Couple of stocks in which there were pledged shares. Max India promoter Max Ventures released pledge of 3 lakh shares. And Max Ventures again, who is the promoter of Max Financial, they've revoked pledge of almost 7 lakh shares. Couple of brokerages. Goldman Sachs has upgraded Excite to a buy and raised the target price to 230. Goldman Sachs has also downgraded Wipro to a sell and TCS and Emphasis to a neutral from a buy. Macquarie has downgraded IGL to a neutral from an outperform. On the basis of valuation, the target price is 420. UBS recommends buying Aegis Logistics for a target price of 265 as upcoming infrastructure projects provide good visibility on the future growth. And finally, Morgan Stanley has cut Dilip Bilcon's target to 504 and they have upgraded NTPC to an overweight from an equal weight and raised the target price to 152. But there's much more you need to know before trade actually starts. For that, log on to our website bloombergquint.com and click on the All You Need to Know tab and you'll be prepared for morning trade.
Well, that's all we have for you on this podcast, but as always, there's a lot more on the website bloombergquint.com, so don't forget to check it out. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day and an even better weekend.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.